A bountiful harvest is wonderful, unless everything gets ripe all at once. I'm Marcia McDonald of Pacific Northwest Suburban Homesteading. Today, Shonna Zimmermann, Remote Homestead Accomplice, will teach us the basics of blanching to help preserve produce until enough time is available to process it properly.
It's peach season again. Some of you probably remember from a previous video that there is a small peach tree here at the remote homestead, and I got a harvest again that it's time to do something with. Last year I made peach jam, still have a little bit of that left, but right now I'm not able to do any canning with these peaches. It's probably going to be a few days before I can get to them. Problem is, peaches have a countertop life of seems like about 17 minutes. So I'm going to have to do something to preserve these until I can get to actually processing them. This is where we use a technique called blanching. Blanching, in simple terms, is plunging your fruits or vegetables into a boiling water bath for a very short time and then immediately transferring it to an ice bath. There are multiple reasons for doing this. Mostly it is to preserve the flavor and texture and color of a fruit or vegetable before canning or freezing. That's what we're going to be doing in the case of the peaches. It's also a very helpful technique for loosening skins on certain vegetables like tomatoes. If you're going to be processing a lot of them, you're going to be plunging it in hot water than cold water, and those skins will just peel right off. Almonds are another thing that are often blanched for peeling. In addition, blanching sometimes is just used just to clean your fruits or vegetables really well, kill a little bit of surface bacteria on them. Blanching is super simple. You're going to need some very basic equipment, a pot for a hot water bath. We're going to start some boiling water in this in just a minute. A pot or a bowl for an ice water bath, which we're going to fill with water and put in some ice cubes right before the blanching process begins. And you're going to need either a sieve or colander, strainer, whatever people call these, or something that you can scoop very quickly to get all of your fruits or vegetables out of the hot water and into the cold water. So I've got my bowl for the peach slices. I've got a bucket for the peach peels, which are going to go into the compost pile. And then I'm going to set the pits aside to throw them away because they're hard and don't compost very well. But here's something to think about. Don't burn the peach pits. If you have a fireplace or a fire pit, do not put peach pits in there. I've read that there is a certain amount of toxic compounds, such as cyanide, that can be found in peach pits in small concentrations. It's a good idea just to not burn peach pits. So right now, I'm just going to start peeling and slicing these peaches. Before I really get started slicing the peaches, I'm going to start the water boiling. Just making some traditional slices. Sometimes you're lucky and the skin comes off without having to use a knife. Surprisingly, blanching will help with that too. Just like tomatoes, you can blanch whole peaches for about 30 seconds in a pot of boiling water, throw them in ice water, and that will loosen the skins right up. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way. What? Don't tell me you've never done that. And before you get too far into your project, be sure to check with a reputable food preservation source to find out how much time your particular produce needs to be blanched. Peaches take a minute. There's some produce that only takes 30 seconds, and there's some that can take up to 3 minutes. And you might be surprised to find that there's certain produce like bell peppers or strawberries. These can go straight into the freezer, no blanching necessary. Seriously, I can't be the only person that snacks on the produce that I'm trying to prepare. So I have my sliced peaches, and I have what looks like a pot of boiling water. So right before I start the blanching process, I'm going to very quickly make up my ice bath. Water and ice. That's all there is to it. I have my mesh scoop on standby, and I'm going to put about 1/3 of these peaches at a time into this pot. I don't want it to get crowded. I want them to be able to circulate and get very hot very quickly. The process of blanching should be very quick. I will put these peaches in this hot water for no more than a minute, and then they'll need to cool down in the ice water for at least as long as they were in the hot water. So if they're in the hot water for a minute, they're going to cool down in the ice water for a minute. At least. So we're going to do this in batches. This is the first batch. One minute, go. 1 minute. So you want to move fairly quickly. Scoop these out of the water because you don't want to cook them, you just want to blanch the surface. And into the ice water with all of them. At least 1 minute, and I'm going to let this water come back to a boil so we can use it for the next batch. I'm also going to put a little more ice in the ice bath because you can never have it too cold. All right, they have cooled down for 1 minute, and at this point they're ready to come out of the water and go onto a baking sheet and into the freezer. So they will freeze for use later, whether I want to make jam or a peach cobbler or put them in a smoothie. They'll be in the freezer and ready to go. So I've arranged these blanched slices on a baking sheet in a single layer. They'll go into the freezer, and once they're frozen solid, I'll be transferring them into a freezer container or possibly a vacuum seal bag. And now we're ready for the second batch. One minute. 1 minute's up. Into the ice water. Another minute, and bring this back to a boil. And it's back to a boil. So we're ready for the next batch. One minute. 1 minute's up. And into the ice water. And let those cool down for 1 minute. Minute's up. And as with the rest of them, I'm going to spread them in a single layer on this baking sheet. Lovely sliced blanched peaches. Into the freezer they go, and I can now do something with them at my leisure rather than worrying about getting something done with them before they turn bad. Okay, so the peaches have been in the freezer for a full 24 hours. Look at that. Frozen solid, but still retain all of their fresh color. So now I'm just gonna go put these in a more airtight freezer container.
There you have it. Blanching is a simple method for preserving nutrients and freshness when you don't have time to process everything from your bountiful harvest. In fact, frozen foods in the store often contain more nutrients because blanching and freezing is done immediately after picking at the peak of freshness. You don't always know how long those supposedly fresh fruits and vegetables have actually been sitting around. They can lose flavor and nutrition as time goes on. Spending a few minutes now can save you waste, nutrients, and frustration in the long run. Check out the links in the description to see the blanch times for various foods and see which vegetables don't even need it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, be curious, keep an open mind, and never stop learning.